Hello, I'm Dr. Todd Lee, creator of the Valhalla Lab supplement line. Today I'm going to discuss with you some biochemistry theory. Because the products are dietary supplements and nutraceuticals, not pharmaceuticals, I cannot make claims. I hope you enjoy my conclusions. Pain. No pain, no gain, right? Not necessarily. Let's elaborate on what you mean by pain. If it's muscle soreness, not tendonitis or joint inflammation, if it's not where the two lubricated surfaces of the joint grind, if it's not the tendon that crosses the joint that's inflamed and throbbing, if it's the muscle belly itself that hurts when you go to use it but is okay at rest, then that's an adaptive growth. That's the inflammation necessary for muscle tissue to be synthesized. Whether it's sarcoplasmic expansion or myofibrillar replication, you're growing muscle. Whether it's the endurance of the muscle or the actual power strength stroke of the concentric portion of the rep, you're growing muscle. Now, just because you're not 100% recovered doesn't mean you can't go in and train again. However, constantly beating on a muscle that's at the yellow, not the green, or even the orange, is going to eventually wear it down to where it's not going to fire right and some other system is going to pick up the slack and you might get contralateral, other side, tendonitis, or joint issues. So how do we stop this stuff? What do we do? How do we make sure our bodies are ready to work out? How do we improve our recoverability? Well, the first and foremost thing is getting your nutrition right. That you have to have the proper amount of protein to have the nutrient building blocks necessary to resynthesize the muscle tissue. You have to have enough calories so where the energy can be used and allocated as a resource towards repairing the tissue. That if you look at calories like money, obviously if there's no money for water or electricity or rent, nobody's going to be spending money on putting nitrous in their car. At least no one's sane. So your body is a lot more mature and responsible than just about anyone you know. It's not going to improve the quantity of muscle mass. It's not going to grow more muscle, which has a higher operating cost than maintaining tissues that have low operating costs. So if your calories aren't high enough to run your body, if you actually have to tap into reserve energy like fat, which is like savings accounts, just to break even, it's not going to stimulate muscle growth, except for in the case of IGF-1. That's what makes IGF-1 so awesome. That's why we do put betaine in Fenner's Fury to boost IGF-1. That's why Battle Made Post helps boost IGF-1, is that it's the rare way that you could grow muscle in a calorie deficit. So that being said, we got to repair these muscles. So if you got the nutrients in place, important things are stretching and mobility work. Stretching increases the passive range of motion of the muscle. Mobility work increases the active range of muscle. And those would have to be things we discuss in another video because that's very complicated. But stretching between sets or doing mobility exercises before the workout is a great way to prevent injuries from occurring. When you get home, if there's something that's super sore, like an elbow or a knee, icing it is really important. Epsom salt baths are really important too. Like I believe it's 3 pounds of Epsom salt in a bath at about 100 degrees for 15 minutes will give you incredible recovery because the magnesium will help loosen up those muscles and tendons. Furthermore, using some type of vibrating device, like I've got something that I call the thermal detonator, but it's actually called the hypersphere. It looks like the thermal detonator from Return of the Jedi that Leia used to try to threaten Jabba so that Han Solo is released from carbonite. And you basically can put it all over the place. You can lay on it, you can put it on your neck, and it basically vibrates and loosens up the muscle a little bit so that when you go to foam roll it, it's more effective. The next step, the ultimate step, is actual massage therapy. That in Plymouth, Michigan, I go to Sage Therapeutics, and Becky works on me, and Becky works on people like Brian Shaw and other really high-end people when she goes to strongman competitions. My understanding, and I might be incorrect, that she is an official person of strongman competitions as part of the medical crew And by medical, we're talking massage therapy. But anyone who knows what they're talking about knows that soft tissue injury is best treated by massage therapy. Cortisone injections from an MD or a chiropractic adjustment are not the appropriate treatments for a sore elbow or a sore shoulder or a sore lower back. Usually it's the muscle is spasming and tight and needs to be loosened up through massage therapy. You can minimize the frequency of your massage therapy visits by doing self-care like the Epsom salt baths, the foam rolling, and the vibration devices. But in the end, nothing beats having a massage therapist on your team because they can evaluate what's going on, figure out where you've got imbalances. The two of you can come to a constructive conclusion like you're not using proper form. And that comes to the thing that I talked about not too long ago with knowledge. If you're lifting like shit, you're a lot more likely to get hurt than if you're lifting right. And just because one person's lifting right for them doesn't mean that monkey see, monkey do approach is right for you. That if somebody has narrow hips and is 6'2", they're going to have a completely different squat pattern than someone like me who's got medium-sized hips and is much shorter. That I have broad shoulders and short limbs, so the way I bench is going to be totally different than someone who has narrow clavicles and long limbs. That we all have different bodies and we should lift the appropriate way for us. And that's where experts would be helpful for helping you deduce how to properly train. So proper training, proper nutrition, proper recovery time, and doing proper prehab and rehab exercises or self-care treatments is how you prevent yourself from getting hurt. And staying pain-free allows you to have better movement patterns and prevent further injuries. It's just a downward spiral. You want to be as close to perfect as possible all the time to get the best results in the gym and be in the least pain out of the gym. Thanks.